Hey guys, it's me Andrew again, your favorite Canadian YouTuber, eh? Now it's been quite a while since I've done any big collab videos with other YouTubers in the audience, and I have an idea for a big collab video that you just might enjoy. I'm thinking about doing a new top 5 or 10 list, one that's presented by not just me, but by you guys as well. I've been debating on doing this list for a while, and I've been hesitant to do it for a while as well. But if I'm gonna make this happen, I can't do it alone, and I'll need your participation in this collaboration to do it right. What is this list, you may ask? Well, normally I tend to avoid controversial or drama-inducing topics online, which this list may or may not result in, but hopefully it won't. Here it is. Top 10 games with terrible stories, but great gameplay. Honestly, I've been hesitant to talk about this for a while, as topics such as this can be rather controversial at times, but maybe if we put enough well thought out effort into it, it just might work. Anyway, as some of you may know, there are quite a few games that the masses deem as bad games, mainly because of the in-game stories, but a lot of people seem to forget that these are not books, these are not movies, they are games. And like the nerd said.
Now, what's the most important aspect about any game? Well, being able to fucking play it.
Now, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not saying stories in games aren't important at all. They do serve some purpose, and for the most part, they do play an important role in the connection to the game's pacing, characters, motivations, goals and objectives, etc. And in some cases, the story does tie in well with the gameplay in a balanced structure, depending on the game. However, a lot of people seem to be so focused on the stories in games, especially journalists, that they seem to overlook or take the gameplay elements for granted and forget what's truly important about the games they play. Once again, there are plenty of games out there that have tons of negative reception because of their stories, whether it be the misdirection of pacing or characters, poor or lazy writing, lack of balanced narrative structure with too many plot holes, being overly convoluted or confusing to the point where it's impossible to comprehend what's happening, or just plain bad stories in general. But people put so much of their negative attention in the game's story that they seem to completely ignore the gameplay, which is a huge important part that most people don't even bother discussing whether of that particular part of the game is good or not. But that's exactly what we're gonna do in this collab top 5 to 10 list. We will be analyzing 5 or 10 games that are infamous for their stories, but have great or at least decent gameplay elements to make up for it, or perhaps games that are extremely fun to play, but the stories aren't anything to write home about and just feel lacking in comparison to the gameplay. I'm not sure if it'll be 5 or 10 games, depends on how many good suggestions we get in the comments below, and who will be willing to participate in this collab. For this collab, participants will submit their entries covering a specific game of their choosing, preferably in YouTube video form, or even just audio if that works easier for you. Or you could even just write the script for a game on the list and I'll read it out loud, but I still prefer we all do our own part in making this. And then send them to me via either Discord, Twitter, or email, or you could also just post the link in the comments below when you're done, if you'd like. And depending on how many entries we get, the best entries will be chosen and added to the full collab video when it's done. Now here's a good question for you all. Which games in your personal experience do you consider to have a bad or inferior story, but is still fun to play? Now, don't just say something like, the story sucks but the game is good, and nothing else. You have to put some real thought and effort into this, be constructive with your criticism, be reasonable with your points and statements, and try not to let your personal bias show through too much. Otherwise, it'll probably just come off as blunt ranting or rambling. However, you are allowed to add some sarcastic, satirical, or exaggerated humorous elements in certain parts here and there to spice it up a bit. Nothing wrong with that. So, who wants to join the collab? You can either construct your own entry for the collab, or just leave a suggestion for a game in the comments below, and perhaps either me or someone else will cover it, depending on how many games are available. There is no planned due date for this project, and to be honest, I don't know if it'll be successfully finished, depending on how far we get into making it. So for now, we'll just wing it from here. No pressure, no worries, let's just do it.
Do it!